Johann Wolfgang von Goethe is often remembered as a literary giant, the author of Faust, a poet of passion, philosophy, and profound insight. But behind the monuments and masterpieces was a deeply human man, curious, conflicted, and constantly wrestling with the limits of knowledge itself. Born in 1749 in Frankfurt, Goethe grew up in an age of reason, when science was rising, faith was questioned, and the world was being remeasured through logic and experiment. Yet Goethe never accepted that reason alone could explain existence. He believed that truth lived in the space between light and shadow. While celebrated for his poetry and plays, Goethe devoted much of his life to scientific study. He explored botany, anatomy, geology, and most controversially, colour. In 1810, he published Theory of Colours, directly challenging Isaac Newton's conclusions about light. Goethe argued that colour was not just a physical phenomenon, but a human experience, shaped by perception, emotion, and context. Modern physics did not adopt Goethe's theory. In scientific terms, Newton was correct. But Goethe's work was not pseudoscience. It was an early attempt to understand how the observer shapes reality, a concept psychology and neuroscience would later take seriously. This tension defined Goethe's life. He was a rational thinker who distrusted cold reductionism, a romantic who feared illusion, a man drawn to light, yet honest about darkness within the human soul. That struggle found its ultimate expression in Faust, a story not of evil, but of limitless striving, a man who wants to know everything and risks losing himself in the process. Goethe's genius was not certainty, it was integration. He refused to divide the world into neat categories of science versus art, logic versus spirit. Instead, he asked a more difficult question: what does it mean to be human in a world we cannot fully explain? Can truth exist without certainty? And can science and soul ever truly be separated? In his later years, Goethe became a statesman, mentor, and quiet observer of life. He outlived most of his contemporaries, watching revolutions, scientific upheaval, and cultural shifts reshape Europe. His final recorded words were simple: more light. Whether metaphor or literal request remains unknown, but fittingly, they reflect a life spent seeking clarity, without denying shadow. Goethe did not give us answers carved in stone. He gave us something rarer: permission to question without fear, to hold reason and mystery together, and to accept that understanding the world begins with understanding ourselves.